The crystal glasses trembled as voices rose in the grand dining room. "We refuse to eat food prepared by her kind," declared Mrs. Wellington, her diamond necklace catching the chandelier light as she gestured dismissively toward the kitchen. The other guests nodded in agreement, their faces twisted with disgust, but what happened next would shake this mansion to its very foundation. Margaret stood in the doorway, her weathered hands still holding the silver serving tray. For 23 years, she had poured her heart into every meal for the Harrison family. Her grandmother's secret recipes, passed down through generations, had graced this very table countless times. Tonight, she had prepared her finest feast, herb-crusted lamb, honey-glazed vegetables, and her famous peach cobbler that had once made Mr. Harrison weep with joy. The silence stretched like a taut wire. Margaret's eyes, pools of quiet dignity, never wavered. She had survived poverty, discrimination, and loss. She had raised 3 children while working 16-hour days. She had buried her husband and still showed up to work the next morning. These people knew nothing of her strength. "Mother always said Margaret's cooking was magic," whispered 12-year-old Eleanor Harrison from the staircase, her small voice cutting through the tension like a blade. The guests turned, startled by the interruption. Eleanor descended the marble steps, her school uniform crisp, her eyes blazing with an intensity that seemed far beyond her years. "Eleanor, return to your room immediately," her father commanded, his face flushed with embarrassment. But Eleanor continued walking, her small frame somehow commanding the attention of every adult in the room. "Did you know," Eleanor began, her voice steady and clear, "that Margaret taught me how to read? When I was struggling in first grade, she sat with me every evening after her work was done. She never asked for extra pay. She just cared." The guests shifted uncomfortably, their champagne glasses suddenly feeling heavy in their hands. Eleanor moved to Margaret's side, her small hand finding the maid's trembling fingers. "Did you know that when my mother was dying of cancer, Margaret slept in the hospital chair for 3 weeks? She held my mother's hand when the pain was too much. She sang lullabies when the medicine couldn't bring sleep." Mrs. Wellington's face had gone pale. The other guests stared at their plates, unable to meet the child's unwavering gaze. "And did you know," Eleanor continued, her voice rising with passion, "that Margaret's son died serving our country in Afghanistan? He was a hero. A real hero. Not like the fake heroes sitting at this table who think money makes them better than everyone else." The room fell into a silence so profound that the ticking of the grandfather clock sounded like thunder. Margaret's eyes filled with tears, but her spine remained straight, her dignity intact. Eleanor turned to face the guests, her young face fierce with righteous anger. "Margaret's food isn't just food. It's love, it's history, it's everything beautiful about being human. And if you're too small and hateful to see that, then you don't deserve to taste even a crumb of what she's created." One by one, the guests began to stand. Mrs. Wellington was the first to leave, her heels clicking rapidly across the marble floor. The others followed, their heads bowed in shame, their expensive clothes suddenly feeling like costumes in a play they no longer wanted to perform. When the last guest had departed, Eleanor looked up at Margaret, her eyes bright with unshed tears. "I'm sorry they hurt you," she whispered, "but I want you to know that you're not just our maid. You're family. You're the heart of this house." Margaret knelt down and pulled Eleanor into her arms, 23 years of love and gratitude flowing between them. "Sweet child," she whispered, "you just showed them what real class looks like. Your mama would be so proud." From that night forward, the Harrison house became known for something different. Not for its wealth or status, but for the love that lived within its walls. Eleanor grew up to become a civil rights lawyer, always crediting Margaret for teaching her that true strength comes not from what you have, but from how you treat others. And Margaret, she continued cooking with love, knowing that somewhere in the world, there was a little girl who had grown into a woman who would never forget the lesson learned that night. That dignity, respect, and love are the only currencies that truly matter. The real victory wasn't in the guests leaving. It was in a 12-year-old girl who chose love over prejudice, and in doing so, changed the world one heart at a time.